Good afternoon, collective. It is I, Patience, your favorite spirit medium, Joshua Patrick Lewis, Cynthia, Cheryl. Those are some names I got. Good afternoon, my collective. I don't believe we have met quite often lately here in the afternoon. It is my pleasure to be here, to be of service, to use my spiritual abilities, which I am developing with you in real time, and my spirit team, the Guild of the Golden Triangle. Thank you so much, Spirit, for being with me. I haven't done a random collective read in a long time, and I did miss the weekend. We usually post every weekend for you, but I switched some shifts this week so I could help someone out at work. So we just took a little break. We took that time to take a little break, which I highly recommend you do. There's no need for you to push yourself beyond what you are capable of in the moment. Allow yourself to rest. Don't feel bad for not doing things that you don't have to do. Okay, my name is Patience. I'm your favorite spirit medium, host of Spirit News Podcast on all major platforms, which we're so grateful for. Thank you so much, Spirit. We are so happy to be of service. It makes our heart truly full to be able to use our abilities to help the collective go from the head to the heart. If you want to find all that metaphysical information, you can go to Spirit News. That's where we put more structured, more high level metaphysical messages that we receive and knowledge and wisdom we receive from our spirit team, which everybody has. Everyone has their own spirit team that you can absolutely ask questions to, and we highly recommend that you start getting in that gear because the way basilisk, basilisk. What in the world is a basilisk from? Oh, Harry Potter. Yes, we were watching Harry Potter. I've been waiting for this moment where I can watch Harry Potter with my children, and that time has arrived. Although, considering not watching past the Order of the Phoenix because it gets a little intense, but we'll see. But Spirit just said basilisk, and there was a basilisk, I believe, in the second one, Chamber of Secrets. Hello. Hello, Eddie. Thank you for being here. Good afternoon. Um, I don't know. A snake could be relevant in this reading. Someone was a snake. Someone had snake-like behavior. Someone was sneaky like a snake. Something like that. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful. So listen, we usually post every weekend. We do. We post every weekend consistently. I didn't get to post this weekend. I took that time to take a break. It was fantastic. I have some time today. 12:22 on the clock. 222 has been all up in my energy. So if you are feeling 222, if you see 22, 1222, 1212, 1122, hit that like button because something's going on. So I'm doing a random read today. I haven't done a random read in a long time. So I thought it'd be fun to just kind of let spirit reveal what energy we need to heal. Reveal to heal. So I've been getting some downloads and I didn't think I kind of got little bits of it today, but I wasn't putting the pieces together until I remembered for the past like 3 weeks now, things that I've been listening to at work bring up this book, Women Who Run with the Wolves. And I picked this book up at Savers randomly. I never even heard of it. It was $2.99 in the Goodwill store, and I didn't realize that this book was so prevalent in when it comes to divine feminine, or when it comes to divine feminine energy. And I've been getting a lot of downloads about how we're integrating divine feminine energy into the collective because for the past thousands of years. We've been in a dark age of repressed feminine energy, and that's basically what we're doing. We're going from the head to the heart, which requires um, blending, a little bit of blending into more feminine energy. So it's like coming in slowly, and we're healing the divine feminine aspect of our society, energetically. And we talk about that on Spirit News. It's basically it's basically what we talk about when we say from the head to the heart. Being in heart consciousness requires you to heal feminine energy within yourself, which really takes a lot of compassion, a lot of patience. If you want to look up right brain characteristics or feminine energy characteristics, you'll see a lot of the characteristics we're trying to heal is like our intuition, our emotions, um, our feelings, our compassion, things like that. We're integrating those things into our into the energy we're going into. So that's been coming up a lot. So I was like, well, let me pick this book up because I have it, and I was like, oh my god, I have that book randomly, and I was like, Spirit, I did my meditation, did my protection, and I was like, and I've also been getting a lot of messages about a grandmother and a mother dynamic. Okay. Modern women need more feminine energy. They are too masculine. And I would say that men need more feminine energy. Yeah, I'd say it's like it's both ways, but like opposite. Women are having to, hold their own emotions and not really have that protective masculine person to like be able to be vulnerable with, to be able to let their guards down and be taken care of and stuff. And then men, don't talk about their emotions at all because they also don't feel safe enough to express emotion, or to have somebody who won't say that they're like, pussies or something, so it goes both ways. Everybody should exhibit a balanced amount of feminine and masculine energy. That's basically what my spirit team has revealed to me. And so it's not about being one or the other just because you are a male or a female. It's about being both in balance, the yin and the yang, and having that dynamic throughout your life, in all of your relationships, within yourself, within, balance for everything, right? And everything that we do requires bits and pieces of both energies. Like masculine energy does have a place when it comes to logic and action and putting things together and solving problem solving. But then the feminine energy also plays a role in intuiting those actions and knowing when it's right and knowing when it's wrong, and what people to involve, and using your emotions and having control of your emotions to be able to like navigate that. So it's not about being one or the other, it's about both in everything. And that's really what I was getting for this reading for somebody that could possibly involve an I want to say woman because the book is Women Who Run with Wolves. And to what you were saying, Eddie, this woman could possibly be in a very masculine energy where she feels like she wants some kind of control, or she uses more of her left brain logic towards goals, and or she could be very, in her ego about, I don't know what the situation's gonna be, but it kind of feels like is how this person got here. So I don't know who it's gonna be for. I'm just gonna read the energy. But so I opened the book, and there's already a card in here, and it was a magic card, and I don't remember putting it in there. But the magic card is the Ogre Head Helm. Ogre Head Helm. And it says artifact creature, and it looks kind of like a samurai mask with spider legs. I'll show you. So some woman definitely in her masculine energy, possibly in arms about something. And I saw this card on the floor. It was face down. It was the only card on the floor. It was face down, and it said hairballs. Cough it up, kitty. Cough it up, kitty. And I recently had a dream about. That's so funny. I recently had a dream about a Cthulhu kitty, a Cthulhu warrior kitty. And I spelled it out. I wrote the dream down, and it was a Cthulhu warrior kitty. WHUTHLU, Cthulhu kitty, and this says cough it up kitty, and this creature has some kind of warrior like helmet on. So something about a woman who's in her masculine energy, who could possibly be operating out of some kind of battle scars or some type of wound that has her carrying out some kind of ungrounded behavior, or acting out in some kind of ungrounded behavior where she feels she has to like protect what she has, or she acted out of needing to protect her place, something like that. So it says battle scar. It says chapter 13, battle scars, membership in the Scar clan. And I was reading it, and what really stood out to me, it says, there are oceans of tears women have never cried. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. There are oceans of tears women have never cried, for they have been trained to carry mothers' and fathers' secrets, men's secrets, society secrets, and their own secrets to the grave. A woman's crying has been considered quite dangerous, for it loosens the locks and bolts on the secrets she bears. But in truth, for the sake of a woman's wild soul, it is better to cry. For women, tears are the beginning of initiation into the Scar clan, the timeless tribe of women of all colors, all nations, all languages, who down through the ages have lived through a great something, and yet who stood proud. Yeah, so there's, what I'm getting is there's perhaps I want to say it feels like an older woman, like either a grandmother or a mother, who's reached a point in her life, in her she could be elderly, she doesn't have to be, but I just kind of feel that, where she is upset about things she's done, about people's secrets she's kept, and people who have been in her life that made her have her own secrets. And it's almost like I guess like an ego death, where she's starting to realize, it's starting to catch up with her. It's starting to catch up with her that the things that she did in her masculine energy to protect her relationships, to protect herself, to protect, or what she thought she was doing to protect her place, is now falling apart. There's something about it falling apart. Things that she thought she would take to the grave that she did could possibly be being revealed right now. And that's really upsetting her. That's really like taking her to a new place of realization, of self-awareness. Something like that. So we'll see. We'll reveal what needs to heal. There's always a lesson in it, so I'm so grateful for anything that Spirit wants to reveal. And it's not to hurt anybody, but it's to help understand on a deeper level, or from a higher perspective. Okay. So tell me more about this mother. What do you want me to know? What do you want me to know? What do you want me to know? It just feels like somebody who never thought about what it would be like to have their mask ripped off is kind of what it feels like. Someone who it slightly feels like embarrassing, it slightly feels Charlotte. Regular. Thought I heard some footsteps. Alright. Foolish mortal. Foolish mortal. The orphan. The orphan. Someone who could have possibly been orphaned as a child or did something to orphan a child or to make a child feel isolated. Oh, look, the snake, the basilisk. Spirit said basilisk, and there's a snake right here. This mother could have possibly did something to keep a child away from a flower. Or to keep a child away from something beautiful, or to keep a child feeling not beautiful. Siren in reverse. This mother could possibly have used sex in the past, or like used her beauty to gain abominated to use her beauty in a negative way to gain the underworld in the past. Yeah, this is in the past. She could have used her body, her sexuality to gain whatever she wanted, possibly in an underhanded way. She could have used it to manipulate people. This same mother could have possibly been the snake. Poet. But something's being revealed, something that was hidden, something that was kept in the dark is now coming to light in bits and pieces, in small pieces. It's starting to become like a fuller picture. That's what I was saying before, that this mother or woman, whoever this is, never thought this would happen. The things that she did that were underhanded to isolate someone, some kind of vow she took, possibly with 3 other people. And I see 3 hands here. Possibly with 3 other people. She could have either been offered money or offered other people money to help her, or she could have done things underhandedly through manipulation by, I don't know, something with eternal resting place. Something she could have made some kind of deal with, or exchange some kind of, it feels like planning. It feels like some kind of, it's so weird. Deities. Yeah, I was just gonna say, whatever, she talked someone into doing something to help her organize a way to orphan somebody, or to make someone a child an orphan. And when I say orphan, I just mean like to isolate them, to make them feel like they're alone, to make them feel like nobody would help them. That's what I mean by that. Spirit said deities, and I was getting, but she made herself seem like it was because she was worried or something. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know really how to explain it. It kind of feels like, I don't know if it happened this way, but just for an example, like Oh, I'm really worried about this child, and I really need your help to figure out how we can help them. What can you, what do you think we should do to make sure this person doesn't hurt themselves? You know, almost making like this orphan seem like they were like a danger to themselves or something. Something like that. So I don't really think this person's a siren in reverse. They're very manipulative. They're very good with their words. Sirens. Oh my gosh, another Harry Potter Harry Potter reference. Because in the Goblet of Fire, when Cedric Diggory said, "Go take your egg to the bathroom, to the bathtub, and put it under water," and Harry Potter found out about the mermaids in the lake, and when they sang underwater, it was really beautiful, and it like so just like I'm just it's reminding me of a siren. A siren can sing, will sing, and whoever they can enchant with their voice will be drawn to them to want to, you know, go to them. So it kind of feels like that energy, like whatever this older woman was spewing, it was it made these two other people, there's three people total, it made them want to help her. It made them think that, you know, her intentions were good, but they weren't. What's Lainatabi? Lainaotabi. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I guess Lainotabi. Lainotabi. This is Lainotabi. Okay, I'm gonna have to spell it. Laino. No. Aotabi. A god is a goddess, the indigenous religion of Manipur. She is the youngest wife of God, blah blah blah, of the underworld. And oh my gosh, I have the underworld right here. Sent her to be the wife Poratan, her brother-in-law. Lainotabi gave birth to a son with Poratan. Her legend says she made the first clay pot. The most beautiful maiden in the underworld is the goddess of sorcery, witchcraft, beauty, and magic. Spells and magic. What? And I have Siren here in the underworld. Clothesline. Clothesline. The warrior. Oh my gosh, didn't I just say I said I dreamt about warrior Cthulhu kitty, and I have the warrior right here. What is going on? There's the basilisk again. A rainbow warrior. A rainbow warrior with possibly intuitive abilities or high sensitivity, because I have a diamond in the middle of the forehead. And the snake's going through the ear and the mouth of this warrior. I wonder if Spirit, are you saying that this could have been their child? This could have been their child. This orphan. They could have prevented, or they could have possibly talked to people throughout the lifespan of this child, where they spoke into the ears of people that would have viewed this person as a warrior, to try to control their rainbow, to try to control the amount of light that was illuminated upon this orphan, or this orphan that's supposed to be a warrior. Hmm. Okay. I have some questions. Let's do the yes or no cards. Let me shuffle them. So I have some questions. Is this orphan their child? Is this orphan someone in their family or child? Yes. Yes. Told you. It's the icing on the cake. All this and sprinkles too. So this is their child or someone in their family. I think it's a child though. Is this warrior also the child? Yes. Thank you. Beauty and growth surround you. Cherish it. So there's some kind of secrets coming out about what this mother did to their child. Something in the past that they did to to their own child. Did this mother have help in doing this to their own child? Did this mother get people to help her do this? Yes. Full of possibility, plenty, creating abundance. I told you this mother has been going around for years now, getting people in this child's life, if this is you in your life, to go against you, to dim your light, to make you isolated. Skull. Spirit said skull, and I got a skull right here. She's been doing underhanded things. What kind of things? How do I find that out? What are these secrets? I know that she's been using her mouth to hiss in the ears of people who could have possibly helped you or looked at you positively. But why? Let me see if I can find out why. Why did she do this? Why did this mother do this to her child? Baby. Something about a baby. Baby. There's a door. A door opened. People. Nova. There's a rhinoceros on the fireplace, and I just read that white rhinos have been extinct and it's black in color. Something about stopping. This mother could have possibly did something to stop this child from having children, or tried to stop you from having children. Let me see. Are you saying that this mother tried to stop her child from having children? Yes, neatly tied up, secure, trustworthy connection. She didn't want you to have a secure, trustworthy connection with children or with your own children. Wow. Why? Why would she do that? What's cooking? What's cooking? She could have. I don't know if you have children or if this is something she did with her children. Something about food? Look at this little girl. Look at her weird color. She looks like she's like blue or something. She could have put something in your food to stop you from having children. Are you saying this mother put something in her child's food? No. Cannot break the ice, chilly reception, bleak. Okay, are you saying this mother put something in a child's food? Yes. Insight and wisdom guide your choice. She wanted to stop you from being a mother. She could have put something in your child's food. And I had hairballs. Cough it up, kitty. What was this mother putting in your children's food? What was this mother putting in the food? What was this mother putting in the kids' food? What was this mother putting in the kids' food? Conflict. Something to create some kind of conflict with a child, with her child, to protest her own child, for her children to be in conflict with her and to protest her. a curse. And this goddess says, charm, magic, sorcery, spell, witchcraft. I cannot make it up, you guys. I'm not making this up. This mother used some kind of something. I mean, I don't know. I don't do witchcraft. I have no idea what that entails, but I'm just reading the energy. Okay. I'm just reading the energy. She could have put something in her child's children's food to make them protest against their mother. Some kind of curse or conflict. Why? Bully. A bully. I laced my child's food with fent. Well, I wouldn't be saying that on public platforms unless you want to go get gotten. I hope you're not doing that. Maybe this mother did that to this child. I don't know. What else? Why is she doing this? Why does she want to curse her own child? Can you because she's a bully. She could have possibly started some kind of gossip, something she was indulgent at, something. And look, here's 3 people. I told you there's like 3 people. There's 3 people here as well. There's 3 people here. There's something about 3 people. Loneliness. I told you. She wanted to create some kind of conflict between her child and people in her child's life. Which, when I say child, this could be a grown up now. You know, I still don't know why. Why? What's the reason? Because of something you wouldn't compromise to, something you wouldn't agree to. Something about a man, something about not choosing them, or they looked at something you did as not considering them, something like that. They could have possibly perceived a choice you made as not choosing them. And this disappointed them and created some kind of embarrassment to them. They could have also been upset that after this decision you made, you could have chose like your family over them or something. And this really upset them. So for whatever reason, they thought it was okay to curse you or to create conflict in your life, possibly by cursing you. Because they have a problem with being alone and saving money. They don't know how to save money and they don't want to be alone. So they try to cause some kind of natural disaster in your life so you would become their blessing. They could have possibly tried to bind you to this because they didn't want you to be without them, or they didn't want you to leave them because of your profession, something that you're, some kind of talent you have, or something you're working on, or self-love. They were afraid that you would love yourself and then not, and let them go or something. And you would let them go. Are you saying this mother did this to their child so their child wouldn't leave them? Are you saying that this mother did all this to their child? So, yes. Resurrect old ideas, breathe new life into it. This mother has a fear of being alone. She purposely put obstacles in front of her child who's a warrior child, a rainbow child, some kind of rainbow warrior, some kind of light worker, someone who's very intuitive, someone who is meant to do something that she's very, or that they're very talented at, something that they're an expert in, something they have that would leave them to have many blessings. They purposely, throughout their life, put obstacles in front of them by whispering in the ears of people throughout their life that would have possibly seen them in this light to not see them in that light. Obediently. Sarah just said obediently. Because they're afraid of being alone. Because they're afraid of being alone. Their biggest fear. Oh my god, and then in that Women Who Run with Wolves, the book, I was reading that. What was it saying? It was saying, this isn't verbatim, this is basically what it's saying was women will choose relationships that will mirror their biggest fears. And not just women, anybody will do that. So there's something about this person's worst fear is being alone, or being lonely, or being isolated, or something like that. And so, you know what this energy reminds me of? When someone has a child and they use that child to they use that child as a emotional support dummy, you know, like a child will love you so unconditionally because, you know, you're their parent and they look up to you and you're like, they worship you basically. And a parent who's emotionally immature or who has wounds they haven't healed will have children and will like be obsessed with that amount of time where, you know, between like 1 and 7, you know, that before the child starts becoming sovereign or autonomous or like independent, and they'll be so dependent on the parent, and the parent will be emotionally reliant on the child for validation and love. It kind of feels like that. um is that what you're saying, Spirit? Is that what you're saying? Yes. Yes. Getting satisfaction, good times, happy ending. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's sad as hell. That is sad. So, through this mother's perspective, what is being illuminated is that if this child, if you're somebody who has experienced a lot of obstacles in your life, like anytime you try to do something, it's almost like turning a car engine. It's like, you know, like it doesn't ever completely pan out the way you want, or there's always some kind of obstacle. um it could have been your mother, or if you had relationships where they wouldn't commit to you, or there was always some kind of obstacle that you know, led to some obstruction with commitment or something like that. Money, you could never save money. There's always something else that came up, something like that. It's being illuminated now. It was because of this mother. Because this mother didn't want to be alone, and she looked at her child as somebody who would fill a hole for her, but she got surprised because something unexpected happened, some kind of unexpected change happened, which was the revealing of the truth, shedding light on something that she never thought would be detected, locked, something that she thought she locked away in her heart that she would keep forever, some kind of secret, something that she did to her child, to her children. because she herself had her innocence taken away. She had no childhood. It clouded her judgment, and it created some kind of missing piece, created ravenous, some kind of insatiable hunger for needing validation, needing love, needing to have someone with them all the time, not able to be alone. They did things against their child because they couldn't they couldn't sorrow, loss, grief, depression, because their child was supposed to be the person that lived with them. And this mother wanted their child, or this child who was born some kind of light worker. This mother may have known that. This mother may have known that this child had some kind of special quality that this mother saw in the child as a since they were born, something like that. Um, because this mother has depression. She's ravenous. She's insatiable. There's nothing you can do is good enough for her because she's empty. Because she doesn't know how to fill herself because she's depressed. Something is being illuminated now, and it's creating some kind of turbulence or tension in this mother's life. Something. What is this turbulence? Pain. I told you, didn't I say in the beginning that there's an older woman who is old now? I'm not saying that in a bad way because we all get old, but she's older, and she's now in some kind of ego death, realizing that a lot of the things she did unconsciously through pain, through putting up a wall, through the pain of depression, of sorrow, of this insatiable need to have validation, that she was putting her child through obstacles for her own selfish needs because she didn't want to be alone. She was purposely holding her child back in many ways because she didn't want to be alone. And she's realizing that now, but it's like something about being sneaky, fake people hiding from you behind the scenes social media. Yeah, there's something that she was doing to keep her child from receiving some kind of blessing. Karma. I cannot make it up. I cannot make it up. She's. Ah. I just want to say karma is not a punishment. Karma is a cause and effect. It's something that rebalances the universe. It's not something that happens to you because you're being punished. When you unconsciously act in ways that hurt other people, you will eventually receive the same energy you put out. So it's not a punishment, it's a reflection. So I just want to say that's for somebody. For everybody who's like, why does this happen to me? Why is this happening? What did I do? You may want to consider what you've done, because it could be energetically being reflected back to you. This mother is feeling invisible. This child may have had to have cut off the mother, and is experiencing the exact thing that she feared to begin with. That's how energy works, folks. I'm gonna give you an example of how fears work, because if you fear something so greatly, the universe will say, oh, the universe doesn't care whether it's good or bad. If you are projecting outwardly a fear that you have, that you're giving energy to, that you're focusing on, you will experience that, because the universe thinks that that's what you want. So for example, in my own life, my own experience, in my childhood, you know, I'm not like being a crybaby, but I'm just saying that in my own childhood I had obstacles. Okay, I did. And that's fine. I love all the lessons I have, because it made me who I am, and I love who I am now. And I wouldn't be who I am without those experiences. So that's fine. But for example, I I'm like trying to think of where to start this example. I had a single mother who raised me, and she had many, as we all do, flaws, okay? And I put her on a pedestal because she's my mother, okay? And I used to say this as a teenager, with all my mom's flaws, I used to say out loud, well, at least she doesn't do drugs. That's what I said. No matter what she did, I would chalk it up to whatever, at least she doesn't do drugs. And then, eventually, fast forward, she eventually did start doing drugs. And when I found out that she did do drugs, I was so heartbroken. My literal fear I had put out into the universe with my words and my energy, that it came back to me, and I actually had to experience it because I put so much of my emotion into that. It was like, my mom can do anything, but if she does drugs, then I don't know what I'll do. And then years later, she ended up doing drugs, and I was like, it was a really big obstacle for me to overcome. And I realize now, as I'm understanding energy at 42, I manifested that. And it may have been part of her path, obviously, but I, in my own path, created a timeline where I would experience that. And so that I experienced it because I had such a great fear around it. Well, this mother that we're talking about, her greatest fear was being alone. And she had a child to try to satiate her need for validation and love, and to fill that empty hole of abandonment so she would never be alone. And when she saw in her child that her child was a great warrior of light that could have had possibly intuitive abilities, and that people really gravitated to them, and this child showed a lot of promise and in having lots of blessings, and lots of people cared about them, she didn't want her child to get rid of her. And in her fear of thinking that her child would abandon her because she has an abandonment wound, she put all these obstacles in front of her child and turned people against her child to make her stay with her, to make her child stay with her, because she thought that's what would happen. But instead, what happened was this child cut her off and decided she didn't want to be part of her life anymore. And this mother could have possibly have even done spells and curses and witchcraft or whatever. I'm not sure in what way, but it says here. And even still, even still, this child still cut them off. So they're actually experiencing the very thing that they put so much time and energy into, the very fear they had of being alone. They're actually experiencing that because they did all this treachery, all this, hurt and pain to the child to make them stay in their life. The child cut them off. Makes me want to cry. So now, in this mother's elderly age, after all of the hoops she put her possibly children through, now she's alone, and she's having to face the things she did. There's no one to distract her. There's no one to make her feel good. She has to. She's realizing in her isolation that she caused the very thing that she feared. My God. It's not funny. I'm not laughing. I'm just like, wow, that's a lot. That's how it works. That's how it works, guys. If you want to put so much time and energy into a fear, you will experience what you fear, because the universe wants you to overcome that. The universe wants you to not fear anything, to know that, what is it? False evidence appearing real. Spirit, what would you say to this mother? What does this mother need to do to overcome the things she's done to her child? What is the lesson here? What's the lesson? Goodness. Goodness twice. Oh my gosh. Goodness twice. Look at this. Goodness twice. And open to the universe, which are all green rays. All green rays. Wow, goodness twice. That's crazy. I overcome my imperfections. I polish my character and feed on the positive. Thus, I free myself, allow my goodness to manifest and become a source of joy. Through gentleness, I offer unconditional support, understanding, and love to myself and others. I refine my character and overcome difficulties by remaining positive. I calm my heart and illuminate my intellect to transform shadow into light. I consciously manifest goodness in and around me. I improve my qualities for the benefit of all. I'm gonna cry. Spirit is saying that we are all imperfect. We're perfectly imperfect. We're perfect beings of love and light, of energy, of non-physical energy that are perfect in our vibration and our frequency. We're pure unconditional love having a human experience. And we come here to be imperfect. If this mother who wanted so desperately to keep their child in their life just so they wouldn't be alone, if they would have looked at their imperfections and realized that they were worthy, that they have confidence, that they valued their own potential, they wouldn't have needed someone to fill that hole for them. They wouldn't have needed their child's validation or like a placeholder. They would have been able to fill their own cup, but because they never wanted to look at their own imperfections, because it's like the book, when somebody's stuck in the way they are and they don't perceive themselves as needing to change or needing to grow, and they perceive themselves as being, well, that's just the way I am, that's just who I am, well, that's who I am, and they're not willing to look at themselves to understand where they can take accountability to be able to change. That's something that is impossible. You have to change in order to grow. If you have decided that you don't need to, I don't know, if you have decided that you don't need to grow anymore, then you're going to be in a place of not being able to accept yourself. Okay, and that's this mother. This mother didn't value herself. She didn't claim her inner power. She didn't love herself completely, and she didn't open. And so that made her really closed off to attracting people, places, and opportunities that would have valued her. Instead, she created this loop of invalidation where she actually is experiencing the very thing she feared, and not to punish her, but to help her see that that was never the truth to begin with. This mother, because all of us come here, none of us are human. We come here for temporary experience, to experience imperfection, to come back to remembering that we are perfect. This mother need to overcome these difficulties, that she needs to remain positive. She needs to understand that even though she did even though she did some horrible things to injure an ascended master. Oh shit. That's this warrior. Her child could have possibly be an ascended master reincarnated. This mother needs to fill her own cup. There's no one in the world that is going to satiate her ravenous need for filling a hole. She could possibly do many things to fill this hole. She could possibly have addictions like gambling or drugs or something she does. God wants her to know that she's good. There's goodness in her, that there is goodness in her still, and that if she can overcome her imperfections and polish her character and feed on the positive instead of focusing on all of the things she did, she could get herself out of the ego death that she's in right now, where she is alone, where she feels like everyone's cut her off, she feels isolated. If she can somehow find a way to find joy in this situation she's in that she created herself, she can turn this around for herself. And anybody can be in a bad place that they may have created through their thoughts and their actions and come out of it, because it's just about what you focus on. And everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. You have to be able to forgive yourself for the things you've done and forgive other people for the things they've done in order to overcome obstacles. Otherwise, you're just going to be in a cycle of always, always, always experiencing the same cycles because you make the same reactions to the same obstacles that you have created for yourself. So the universe says, discover your worth, discover your ability to have confidence, discover your value and your own potential, reclaim your inner power, accept and love yourself completely, and be open to the divine light of the universe. If you are constantly if you want to constantly focus on the bad, then you will experience the bad. If you can possibly pull yourself out of that mindset and even just take a step away from it, and even if you feel like you don't deserve it because of something you've done, if you can find a way to forgive yourself and find joy in that moment, you can slowly pull yourself out of the deep dark hole of karma that is keeping you in a cycle of pain. I don't know who this is for, but whatever mother this is for, whatever person is experiencing just being in a dark place because of their own actions, possibly a lot of karmic consequences for the decisions they've made against somebody, against their own child. You did it because there's some kind of wound of abandonment, because you didn't want your child to leave you. And that makes me very sad. It makes me want to cry. If we get a higher perspective of this person's actions, they didn't do it because they're evil. They did it because they didn't want to be alone, is essentially what it comes down to. And because they were so focused on people leaving them, because they got their power taken away at some point in their life, because they've been abandoned so many times, it made them think that they weren't good enough to keep anybody. And so they tried to manipulate situations and experiences to keep someone with them so they would never be alone. And it just didn't work out that way. So I overcome my imperfections and polish my character and feed on the positive. Thus I free myself, allow my goodness to manifest and become a source of joy. Through gentleness, I offer unconditional support, understanding, and love to myself and others. Okay? I hope that helps. I love you, collective, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.